So in this video, I'm going to teach you one phrase that I use that when I say it, people actually want to connect with me more. It actually wants to make them have more conversations with me because this is super important. Because here's a problem that I had when I was in middle school, high school, and a problem that most guys have. When I was in middle school and high school, I was obsessed with trying to get people to like me. And the reason why I was obsessed with trying to get people to like me so much was because no matter how hard I tried in conversations, talking to people, I just could not get people to like me. I just couldn't click with people. Even when I got older, like I started going to the gym, reading, I started getting on self improvement, really improving myself. I still went into conversations not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say, and I would not have any friends. There were so many situations where I would talk to someone and really put myself out there and be like, hey, bro, like, what's up? Like, I really opened myself up and wanted to say, hey, I'm a friend. Like, I'm really friendly. I'd like to connect with you. But they would just not talk to me. They would either end the conversation, it'd be super dry. Shoot, they would even go and talk to somebody else. And it was moments like these where I really started obsessing and really started researching on what is the secret to get people to like you? What are the secrets to actually connecting with people and making those friends? Because here's the thing, I wanted a social life. I wanted to actually experience things with people and not be alone all the time. So I knew this was super important. And throughout my research of trying to see what works and what didn't, I found and researched the power of the words that we have. Because with the things we say, the ways we say it. It's super powerful. For example, there's so much scientific research on the words that we say, the power that they have, the way that these words can make people feel. This is why we have formal and informal words and phrases. Like the way you speak to your boss isn't going to be the same way that you speak to your friends. That's how important this is. And from all my research, everything that I saw, the conversations that I've analyzed, here was just one phrase that drastically helped me to connect more with people. I started saying this phrase, people started being more interested with their body language. They noticed I was saying this. They wanted to talk to me more. They started asking me more questions. And they liked this phrase so much, they even started repeating it back to me. And the phrase that I use all the time to make people like this is, I love that. I love that. Now, you might be confused on that phrase. You might not know what I'm talking about, but in this video, I'm going to explain all that. I'm going to explain what this line is, the psychology on how it works, and how you can start using it in your conversations so you can get more people to feel like they actually want to talk to you. So, one of the most common things that we say when meeting new people or even conversation in general is that's cool or I like that, right? Like imagine if you're meeting someone right now, they would tell you like a hobby or something, maybe where they're from. You would say something like, "Oh, that's nice, that's cool," right? But here's the thing, that is so generic. That's basic, okay? There's nothing wrong with saying that, but the next time that they give a personal opinion or maybe something that they've been working on, instead of saying that's nice or that's cool, I want you to say, I love that. And then maybe you can follow up with something like, oh, I love that. That's really awesome. Or something like, oh, that's super cool. Like, I love that so much, man. Here's the reason why this works so much and how it's so effective. When you use the word love, especially with a stranger, they're going to be kind of sidetracked. Not in a bad way, but they're going to hear that you use the word love. Because think about it like this. The last time that a person used love associating with them was probably either a family member or a spouse. And you're neither one of those. So think about it like this. If you're using the word love and you're saying, I love that. I love that idea. They're going to feel that warmth. They're going to be like, oh, that's cool. Like he said something different. He's like, oh, like he actually loves this idea that I'm doing. That's totally different. It stands out. And it's going to make them feel good that you're actually complimenting them with a word as strong as love. So, in my personal experience, I'm going to tell you on how I know this works. So, the first time I really started using this line was actually a few months ago. In my school, I currently go to a huge university in my state with 40,000 people, and I'm part of like this transfer mentorship program. So I basically help transfer students that are coming to the school adjust to the school, find new friends, get involved in clubs. And I remember this one time. I was meeting this new transfer student, and she reached out for me for help, and I agreed to meet with her at this huge cafe in the middle of my campus, the big campus. And I remember as I was going to meet this girl, I was going to make plans to connect with her one on one. I started thinking about this line that I saw from this video that is from this guy called Eric Ronaldo. Now, Eric Ronaldo, he's kind of like a game person. So he goes up to random strangers, random women, and he tries to connect with them. He gets numbers. But I noticed from this video, he never said that's cool. Like when he's meeting a stranger, he never said, "Oh, that's cool, that's nice." Instead of saying that, he said, "Oh, I love that." And as soon as he said, "I love that," the strangers that he would talk to, they would get instantly like happy. They would like try to engage with them more. They started asking him more questions, and I started thinking about this line that Eric Ronaldo used. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to see if this works. I'm going to start using I love that. So, the girl comes like 5 minutes later. She's introducing herself, and we're talking, we're getting to know each other. And she tells me something interesting. She tells me on how she had a gaming addiction, how her grades kind of plummeted because she played too many games on her laptop. She was like a gamer girl. And as she was telling me that, she was like, "Oh yeah, my grades are dropping, like, because I'm a gamer girl, you probably think that's weird." And instead of saying, "Oh no," like, instead of saying, "Oh no, that's super cool, like, I don't think that's weird," I said, "Oh, really? You play games? I love that. I love that so much. What games do you play? How long have you been playing that for? Do you play online? Like, how long do you play?" So I started using all these words and all these phrases that involved "I love that." And because of this, long story short, me and this girl, we actually get super close. We actually become really good friends. She actually gives me like a birthday card and everything. But something that really stood out to me during this whole thing was that the times that I told her I love that, she started repeating that back every time that we met up when we had conversations. So I would tell her before, "Oh, I love that idea. That's super cool. I love that." She also saying that back to me. So she started mirroring me. And when someone mirrors you, they like you, they enjoy being in your presence. So now I'm going to tell you how to use this word effectively, how to use this phrase effectively to use in conversation. The best way to use this phrase, saying to someone, "I love that," is best used when they give a personal opinion, a personal achievement, like something that's been working on, or maybe an idea that it's a bit controversial. They don't know how they don't know how you're gonna take it. So, for example, I met someone a couple while ago that said he was running a 4K. And he said, "Oh, like I'm currently running a 4K. I know some people think it's a waste of time, especially during school, but I really like running. I'm competitive and I like doing it." And instead of saying, "Oh, 4K, that's cool," I'm like, "Oh, 4K, no, bro, I love that. I love to hear it, love to see it." And because of this, he started connecting with me more, and he actually started repeating this as well. And like I said, with that girl that I met, the transfer student, she had definitely lots of ideas. She was different than most people. So there was lots of times when she was saying, "Oh, like I don't know what you think about that." And instead of saying that's cool or that's nice, I'm like, "No, I love that so much. I love that idea." You know, when you say this word, you are going to say this word, they're going to feel that warmth and connection and be like, "Oh, wow, this guy, he's confident enough to say love with my idea." And no one has ever used that word with me before. So use this phrase, use it in your conversations. Don't use it all the time, but know when to use it. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.